Oh, where have I been? Sorry everyone for only giving you like Tuesday treadmill talks in a single Legends podcast. Oh, that's embarrassing. Let's do a haul. Now, I need to explain some things on how hauls are going to work now, because they're going to work a little differently, because I'm out of the comic book game for the time being. Why? That's a whole nother story you can message me about, and we can talk about, give you the long answer for that. But, it's a great deal of things in the comic book world that I don't agree with. Plus, it was just tying me down content-wise. And especially right now, where I'm working on something big that we're shooting Friday, that will be a game changer for this channel. Will be uploaded Friday. It's something big, and if you've watched Tuesday Treadmill Talks, you know what I'm talking about, so I will save that for Tuesday Treadmill Talks, which there hasn't been in a while, but there will be. Have some hardcover novels, a manga, and a lot of Blu-rays. So what's going to happen now with hauls is they're not going to be weekly anymore. That's just way too absurd. I don't know. I'm working towards bigger things right now, and some of the stuff I've actually left out of the haul because I'm not ready to show that yet. So let's get into this. What Stupid Chainsaw Productions haul wouldn't be complete without a Star Wars novel? Or anything Star Wars. I got Darth Plagueis. It's a book club size hardcover. Never been read. This is my absolute favorite Star Wars book of all time. And it's really cool to finally have this in hardcover. So, yeah. Next we move on. The next 5 books are all Dune books. They're not in chronological order. I just piled them here so I could talk about them. Alright, we'll go with Dune, The Machine Crusade, and these are all Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. These are later sequels. They are not Frank Herbert stuff. Those are hard to find in hardcover. Very hard. But I'm going to try. Next we got The Butlerian Jihad. Sandworms of Dune. Hunters of Dune. And lastly, Dune the Battle of Corran. So, that's cool that I've just got a good start on my Dune books. And I don't know if I've actually showed those off or not. See, it's been so long that I don't remember. Next, I know I haven't shown this off because I got this very recently. This is the manga. This is my first right-to-left manga, like a normal manga, because Akira's left to right. And we got the Full Metal Alchemist, volumes 1 through 3. They're doing these 3-in-1s. I think they finished. I think they have the entire manga run. But I love Full Metal Alchemist. I'm actually going through, I have this right here, going through the original series right now. I finished Brotherhood, including Sacred Star of Milos. And I don't know, I might do a video on this someday where I just talk about these 2 anime series and the manga and just go over everything, because I'm such a huge fan. But yeah, another time. Next, I was getting into the horror mood. My girlfriend Caitlin and me really love horror, but we love 2 different types of horror. She's into more modern horror, which I don't particularly like. I'm not into jump scares. I find it cheap and irritating. And I'm not into that whole torture horror either. I just find that gross. So, I'm into specifically the 70s and 80s horror. Not all of it, but quite a bit. That's where I tend to fall. So most of these are horror. We'll start off with Creepshow. This is what happens when you get Stephen King and George Romero working together. Very fun horror movie. These all came from October. Next, we got one of my favorite zombie movies. It's not necessarily a good movie, but I really enjoy the take they do on zombies. And that's The Return of the Living Dead. No, not really a sequel to any of Romero's movies, but still really fun. Next, we got The Fog Collector's Edition. I really like this company, Scream Factory. They've been putting out some really good Blu-ray releases of the Carpenter horror movies. Yeah. So that's The Fog, and of course I have his masterpiece, The Thing. This one is really expensive, but I got it cheap at Best Buy. I got it cheaper at Best Buy than it was at Amazon at the time. Next two I haven't even opened up yet. Poltergeist. This is a Spielberg classic. I love Poltergeist. Very graphic for a PG movie. If you haven't seen it, there's a really, really gross scene in it. And you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of a dream sequence thing. It is nasty. So I thought it was an R-rated movie for a long time, but it's actually a PG. This was made shortly before PG-13 was a thing. And next, one of the movies that caused PG-13 to be a thing, Gremlins, another Spielberg movie. Spielberg was really instrumental into having a rating in between PG and R, because if you remember, Temple of Doom has some graphic scenes in this. This has graphic scenes in this, but it's not too graphic. So, well, Temple of Doom got me there. But Gremlins has some gross stuff, but it's not necessarily human gross stuff. So it's like comical and stuff. Sort of like the Lord of the Rings with all the orc guts and stuff. So, you know, that's rated PG-13. But you can thank Gremlins for that, because people thought this was a kid's movie, and it really, really is not. So, yeah, go check that out. Next two are Blu-ray collections. I picked this up because why not? For a laugh. The Halloween Complete Collection, which, it's so weird. It has all the movies, including the remake and the sequel to the remake, the Rob Zombie ones, which are horrible. They really are bad. As far as, like, horror movie remakes, they aren't the worst. It's not The Fog. That remakes the shits. But they're the unrated director's cuts, which I've rented the unrated director's cut as a kid, because Halloween, the 2007 remake. Let's see, I was in 7th grade. Yeah, I was in 7th grade when it came out. And I was obsessed with it because it was just this gross thing. It's so over the top now. It's got a really stupid beginning, but a good middle. And then the last hour is like the entire original movie, almost shot for shot. Only more graphic and over the top acting in an hour. It's hilarious. And then Halloween 2 is just the 2009 one is just a complete cluster fuck of garbage. it's almost too unwatchable. Like, I'd rather watch Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is what everyone hates, over the Halloween 2 2009 one. But they've been fun. Caitlin and I have watched the first two, I think, of those. We'll get back to that shortly. And then lastly, I got this behemoth today, which is the Harry Potter Hogwarts collection. Now, why? I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I respect it in its technological sort of what it did for cinema. Because, you know, when you have 8 consecutive movies, technology changes. especially in our time, technology has really advanced. Unfortunately, in some ways, not in the right direction. I mean, you start to notice that they use way too much CG in these later movies. Everything looks like a cartoon. But the cool thing about this is 31 discs, in case you couldn't read that because I've been shaking this thing. 31 discs. It has the extended versions of the first two movies, which are really fun. It's got some good stuff in there. And it has the 3D versions of Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, which will never be watched because my TV is an older flat screen and does not handle 3D well, if it does at all. I seriously doubt it. It's a cheaper TV. Hence why I have the Bose soundbar, because the speaker on that TV does not work well. But yeah. And one more thing. I got Steam controller case. You might be wondering, why did I get the Steam controller case? Well, you can figure it out. I got the Steam controller. I love this thing. It took a little bit to get used to. The little track pads here. It's actually more sensitive of a trackpad than my MacBook. That was probably the hard part of it. But it's got the buttons like an Xbox controller. Which, go figure, PC sort of thing. It's got little clickers on the back. Clickers there. And 2 trackpads. And a joystick. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but you get the idea. It's fun. Not every game works normally with the controller. Your older games, like I got this to play some older games, like Tomb Raider, the early Tomb Raider games from the 90s. I got it for that, and I have to configure it over. But overall, a lot more comfortable than my Logitech PC controller. Plus, like, I have Lego Lord of the Rings on here. I can play 2-player, and someone doesn't have to use the keyboard. Which, if you played a Lego game on a keyboard, I am sorry. It has got horrible controls. But yeah. That's my haul for this, I don't know, month prior to Christmas. I won't be getting too much for myself now, except for some PC parts, but we'll get into that in another video. Stay tuned. We got a lot happening on this channel. Well, one really big thing happening, and then hopefully some more stuff. So, anyway, have a nice day.